Hello, everyone, and welcome to this post-work beer. Well, I guess it's not a beer review. It's a post-work pre-made cocktail review. So I was at Tamura's picking up a four-pack to review, and I saw like a selection of pre-made bottles of cocktails, and one kind of stood out to me because I don't get to cocktail bars very often at all, like within the past few years. And there's always been one I've wanted to try, and that is the Campari. The Negroni, which is made with gin and Campari and vermouth. Campari is a vermouth, sorry. It goes to show you I'm not very good at cocktails. Um, but why this one stands out to me is because it's known as the bartender's handshake. So basically, if a bartender goes to another bar, they order a Campari. And that's kind of one of the ways that bartenders kind of recognize each other at like bars is by the Campari that's served. I've never had a Campari, but I can tell you this. I like gin, I like bitters, and I like cocktails made with vermouth. So it's going to be interesting to try. And the one that we're going to try here is, oh yeah, now you want to do it. Tanqueray's Negroni cocktail made with Tanqueray London dry gin, vermouth, and bitter liqueur. Serve chilled or over ice. So this has been chilled because I don't have ice cubes. Mostly because I guess I need to clean out my freezer, or the water quality is not that great. But I find that ice tends to make drinks not taste too great. At least here. I mean, if you got like purified water and you make ice out of it, and you don't let it sit for a week or two in the freezer, I'm sure it tastes a lot better. But so I'm going to be reviewing this without ice. And this is black text on green. It looks like it's mostly the health information. But I got my glasses to go and see here. This was about $14, about the price of a sixer or a four pack, and I'm guessing it's about equivalent, same amount of alcohol as like a sixer or a four pack is in this particular bottle. So this perfectly crafted cocktail is ready to enjoy. Chill your bottle of Tanqueray Negroni, pour into a rocks glass, preferably over ice, garnish with an orange peel. Well, I don't have an orange peel. Ready to serve, a delicious Negroni with the perfect balance of bitter, sweet, and fruity flavors, crafted with Tanqueray gin. Now, is this, let me go and see here, yeah, this is just all nutrition and warning information. Now, is this going to be as good as, a cocktail made by a human? Probably not. Is it going to be drinkable? Well, I guess we're going to find out. Without much further ado, let's go and open this. So why did I choose to do this instead of a beer review? It's been a rough week. It's probably going to be the only review that I do this week. We had a massive storm go through Friday, which was yesterday, which is my usual review day. Power was out for like until 8:30 this morning. So starting from 6 last night to 8:30 in the morning, I was at work. For a while, I thought my computer was dead, but it looks like it resuscitated itself. Something about flea power. I don't know much about computers, hence why I don't do much editing or anything else. But yeah, really rough day at work. I spent most like 8 hours soaked to the skin, dodging falling branches. Oh boy, this one's got. Hey. Ooh, interesting. Okay, that's kind of a fat pour. Yeah, I'll be feeling this for sure. This is 24.9 ABV. Of course, a nice red color. clear red color, ruby red. Oh yeah, definitely smell like botanicals. Kind of hides the juniper and brings out like a more fruit kind of smell to it. Slightly reminiscent of fruit punch, but more complex than that. Gin kind of hangs over it. Definitely, I've had Tanqueray before. It's not a gin I'm particularly fond of. I definitely would go for a higher shelf gin, you know. So you get like some juniper, some other botanicals, but it doesn't really have like, it doesn't slap you up the face. Good gin is strong smelling with those botanicals. But yeah, I'm guessing the Campari or whatever they're using for the vermouth, the sweet vermouth, is that fruity aspect. Definitely smell like that kind of um, tropical bark kind of smell that bitters adds to it. Citrus. Yeah, it's really lovely smelling. Onto the palate. That's intense. I can see why they say have it on the rocks. It definitely could use a bit more chilling to tame those flavors down a bit more. This came straight from the refrigerator. Still very intense flavors, almost overwhelming on the palate. Kind of, again, long-lasting finish, kind of fruit punchiness. Again, with some bitter overtones to it in that finish. Mm. Up front, fruit punch. Top note is just a really strong hit of juniper. Almost peppery in the mids. Peppery to spicy in the mids. Um, the bitterness kind of comes out there in the mids, but tames down again in the finish. The sweetness level is reminiscent of, say, like a port wine or a drier Madeira. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's got some complexity to it, even though I'm guessing, well, one, I know Tanqueray is not the most complex of gins, but those two things added to it definitely, um, all three of them are just playing together in perfect harmony. It's a bit thick and oily on the palate, but that's to be expected. I'm guessing from the vermouth, the Campari or Campari analog. Yeah, this is pleasant. This is nicely pleasant. I'm enjoying it. Definitely going to make some a couple of ice cubes for next time. I think that's going to heighten it a little bit. It's probably going to go and reduce the sweetness a good deal. Here, since it wants to go in blur. Cheers. Like anonymous commenter, you've given me a very good thing to do. Every time it does that, I'm just going to cheers. um, definitely has I'm gonna add a couple. It's gonna ice cube's probably gonna cut down on the sweetness of it. Probably loosen up the mouthfeel a little bit more. On the downside, I kind of think it might go and reduce the more delicate aspects of the top note, which are really quite pleasant, honestly. Top note is really half of this right here. Oh yeah. Almost medicinal in a pleasant way in the mid to finish. You know, there's bad medicinal and there's good medicinal. Oh. Yeah, next time I go to a cocktail bar, I'm definitely going to order a Negroni. That's some good stuff. I am pleasantly surprised. I was expecting, a bit more of like the usual kind of canned pre-mixed cocktail experience where I'm getting kind of something that's really meh, overly sweet, kind of boozy. Yeah, this is a little bit boozy, but it's gin. Gin is probably one of the most booziest of distilled liquors I find. Um, but still, it's it's got some complexity to it. I'm enjoying this. I'm quite pleasantly surprised by this. If I didn't have another beer to go and like pre-review before this, I would definitely pour myself a second. Yeah, 2 drinks. That's all I'm going to have. You know, got to watch my health. Probably going to have a little bit of water after this because the beer I'm going to have is not going to play well with this on the palate, that's for sure. Completely different galaxy to this. Um, but yeah. Um, I can't say this about the other ones. I'm pretty sure what some, InBev or some other gigantic company is making this. But for a mass market product, this is surprisingly complex and good. Again, bit on the sweet side. I think ice would help with that. Um, but yeah. So that is your pre-mixed cocktail review for this evening, folks. Cheers, and hopefully for less busy weeks and sunnier weather around the corner. That, folks, is your review. Cheers.